Baik, sahaja දෙන්න. ධර්මාසනාරූඪ අපේ හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ සදහැතර පින්නතුනි මම හිතන්නේ අපට අද විශේෂ දවසක් අපි Metta Viharaය ආරම්භ කරලා වසරකට ආසන්න කාලයක් ගත වෙන මොහොතේදී අපේ ගෞරවනීය හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ අපි ආයතනයේට වැඩම වීම අපි කාටත් ලොකු සතුටකට කරුණක්. මම හිතන්නේ උන්වහන්සේ පිළිබඳව අපි මම හිතන්නේ දීර්ඝව හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ කවුරුත් අන්තර්ජාලය හරහා උන්වහන්සේගේ තොරතුරු බොහෝමයක් දැනගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා උන්වහන්සේ පිළිබඳව ගොඩක් හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අහලා තියෙනවා. අපි ඒ මගින් තමයි මේ පිරිසකින් අහගෙන තිබෙන්නේ. උන්වහන්සේ දීර්ඝ කාලයක් තිස්සේ පැවිදි ජීවිතය තුළ ගත කරමින් ඒ පැවිදි ජීවිතේ ලබාගත යුතු ඵලයන් පිළිබඳව සිත යොමු කරමින් ඒ සඳහා කටයුතු කරපු ඒ සඳහා විශේෂ මහන්සි වුණ කරු කටයුතු හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ නම ලංකාවේ අරණ්‍ය සීනාසනයන්හි වගේම හිමාලය ආදී ප්‍රදේශවලත් උන්වහන්සේ මේ පැවිදි ජීවිතය සාර්ථක කරගන්නට උන්වහන්සේ දැඩි උත්සාහයක විශේෂක නිරත වුණ කරු කටයුතු හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ නම උන්වහන්සේ තමන් ඇති කරගත්තු ඒ ශක්තියත් එකතු කරගෙන හැම දිනාටම සේවයක් කරන්න ඕනේ කියන මේ හැඟීම හදවතේ ඇති කරගෙනයි මේ වැඩ පිළිවෙලට අවතීර්ණය වෙලා තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ අනුව අපට මම හිතන්නේ ඇමරිකාවට යසස් මහත්මයා ඇතුළු පිරිස වඩම්ම ගන්නට යෙදුණා. ඒත් එක්කම අපේ ඕස්ටින් වල චානක මහත්මයා මේ සඳහා එකතු වුණ ශානක මහත්මයාත් එකතු වුණා. ඒ එකතුව නිසාම අපට අවස්ථාව ලැබුණා අපි ආයතනයේට අපි ගෞරවනීය හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ වඩම්මා ගන්නට. අපි මේ සියලු දිනාටම පින් දෙනවා ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. ඒ අයගේ උදව් උපකාරය අපට ලැබීම පිළිබඳව විශේෂයෙන්ම හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේගේ නමින් අපි හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. අපි හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ නමින් හඳුන්වලා දෙනවා නම් බම්බලපිටියේ ඥානාලෝක හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ. උන්වහන්සේ ඊතා වටිනා උදාර ශාසනික සේවයක් සිදු කරන කරු කටයුතු හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ නම මම මේ විදිහට කෙටියෙන් සිහිපත් කළොත් මම හිතන්නේ ප්‍රමාණවත් වෙයි. අපි පළමුවෙන්ම උන්වහන්සේ දොහොත් මුදුන් තබා දෙපා නැමෙද නමස්කාර කිරීම වශයෙන් සාදු නාදයක් පවත්වනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි අපේ හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට ඉතාමත්ම ගෞරවයෙන් යුක්තව ආරාධනා කර සිටිමු. මෙතන ඉඳලා මේ ධර්ම දේශනාවේ උතුම් වැඩසටහන ක්‍රියාත්මක කරවන හැටියට සියලු දිනාම සාදුකාරයක් දීලා ඒ ආරාධනාව සිදු කරමු.
Thank you. I think after a long time, the audience, I thought it was in Sinhali, but I get an invitation to speak in English because I thought coming to America, I also thought I would meet the local people. Started in Australia, and that I got to know it, the organizers, how they are connected, but they are connecting with the Sri Lankan crowd. That's okay. I'm very happy. I wish you all peace of mind, strength of mind, this meeting. I must tell you frankly, it's like a marathon I have been going. It's my second month, I think, starting from this place, France, Europe, and then England, from England to from England to States, starting in New Jersey. So, but I also teach, I try to tell you all how to do this meditation while you are doing your work. So something I also have to practice these days, because maybe the talking part, actually 2 days I had some rest. One in like a kind of a forest in San Francisco. That was really helpful, just to rejuvenate mind. I do the practice wherever I'm going, but the forest has a different, it's a different, completely different effect with nature. So, initially, in my younger days, the very first time that I actually started this path, it was also like a place where it was solitary, silent. But I never thought I would be becoming a monk like this. Many years back, I was in southern Africa. I don't know whether you know Lesotho. Have you heard of Lesotho? It's like Swaziland. It's another land of kingdom in southern Africa. So that is the place really this awakening took place. Now, I must tell you frankly, ඉංග්‍රීසි තේරුම් නැද්ද සිංහල තේරුම්? හරි. ඔක්කොටම සිංහල තේරෙනවද කොහොමද? මෙතන ඉතින් අර කණ්ඩායම් ගේනවා. මම ඇන්ටි කණ්ඩායම් මේ වගේ. මම එහෙම කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම මම පොඩි කාලේ ඉස්කෝලේ යනකොට නුවර ඉස්කෝලේ ගියේ ප්‍රින්ට් එකට යන කාලේ ගෲප් ගහුණා මේ කට්ටිය දැන් සමහරට වෙන්නේ බ්ලයිටන් ෆේමස් ප්‍රයි කියන ගෲප් එකක්. කියලා තිබ්බා ඒ පන්ති වල දැන් නැද්ද ලංකාවේ. ඉතින් මම ඒකට against ඉඳලා මම ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගන්න කැමතිුන්නේ නැහැ. අම්මලා එහෙම බැලුවා මට ඉංග්‍රීසි උගන්වන්න මම ආසුන්නේ බෙදීම ඒ වෙලාවේ ඒ කාලේ පොඩි කාලේ. පස්සේ කරපු වැඩේ දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවේ යනවා. දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවේ ගියාම මේ ඔක්කොම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් සම්පූර්ණයි. පස්සේ මම මෙහෙම දෙයක් දැක්කා ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ වඩා මේ ඉංගලන්තයේ කොහෙද මෙහෙ කට්ටිය ඇන්ටි ඉංග්‍රීසි මම හිතන්නේ එපා නැති ඇමරිකාව. කොයි කාලෙක ලංකාවේ මොකද සමහරට ඇමරිකාවේ ඉංග්‍රීසි ඔක්කොම එපා නැති. මම පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න දෙකෙම කියන්නේ කොහොමද කරන්නේ. කොහොමද මේ සැහැල්ලුව ගන්න තියෙනවද? කොටම් බඳා ගන්න සමාජයටද ලෝකෙටද මම ආවේ මේ ඇත්තටම සම්ප්‍රදායෙන් නෙමෙයි මේ ධර්මයට ආවේ. දෙමව්පියෝ මගේ අම්මා හරි ආගමට බැදී නාට ගවේෂණයක් තිබ්බා පොඩි වයසේ ඉඳන්. මුලට අර මේ එන්ජිනියර් ඔක්කොම මම කියන්නේ තේරෙන්නේ නැති කියන්නේ නේද? ඔක්කොම තේරෙන්නේ පොඩ්ඩක් අතුසන්න බලන්න. සිංහලෙන් තේරෙන ඔක්කොම අතුසන්න බලන්න. මොන වයසද ආවේ ළමයි මෙහාට? හරි. ඒක තමයි. දැන් මට අවුරුදු 13 14 ගිය එතකොට කොහමද ඒ හිතිනෝ ඒ දා ඉගෙන ගත්තේ. මාත් බැලුවා මේ කොහොමද කියලා. So I'm sorry, I'm just like you all, you know. There was a time I couldn't understand because at home also they used to speak in English, my parents. So school, all whole time going to school, and completely I forgot Sinhalese language. But then as a monk, I was in Sri Lanka, but I was not preaching. But then, what was it? But then to tell some Dhamma, I had to learn some Sinhalese. Sometimes now I have forgotten English also properly. My brain is working both ways, but I try to share both of you all with it. So, okay, I understand. All right. I don't know how, have you ever seen someone discoursing with both languages? Changing try. Just want to give you some points. Very important, I think. පොඩි කරුණු වගේක් දෙන්න ඕනේ මට. ඒ ටික මම කවර් කරන්න යනවා. හැබැයි පළවෙනිට මෙන්න ඕනේ මම කැක්කේ දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවේ මම ඉතින් එහෙදි ඉන්න කාලේ මුලට පොඩි වයසේදී non stop machine එකක් හදලා මම engineering පරිසරයක් තුල මගේ තාත්තත් එක්ක ඉන්නකොට එතනත් මම හැදුවේ පළවෙනිට මේ වතුරෙන් දුවන වාහනයක් නිබ්බාන එකකට. මොකද වතුර ඕන තරම් available හින්දා වතුරෙන් එකක් හැදුවොත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ කියලා තමයි. ඉතින් තාත්තා හරියට encourage කරා මට පොඩි කාලේ. ඒ කියන්නේ තාත්තා එහෙම කිව්වේ නැහැ මේකේ මම principles දන්නෙත් නැහැ මොනවද දන්නේ අර two stroke engines අර මේව ඔහොම design board එකේ ඇඳලා ඉතින් හැබැයි research mind එක මට ඒක දුන්න හරි උදව්වක් වුණා. කොහොම හරි අපි exhibition එකකට මේවා කරන්න ඒකට නමකුත් තමයි non stop machine කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ එක මේකකින් තව මේකට energy transform කරන හැබැයි ඒක practically බෑ. මොකද physics නෑව දන්නේ නැතුව resistance තියෙනවා gravity තියෙනවා. ඉතින් කොහොම හරි මේක හොයන ගතියක් තිබ්බ මොකක් හරි හිතා ගන්න බැරි එකක්. කොහොමද අපි ඉතින් දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවේ ගියා අවුරුදු 14. එතකොට ඉතින් වෙන පරිසරයක් ආවා. විද්‍යාවට මම හිත ගියා. විශේෂයෙන්ම භෞතික විද්‍යාව for physics. When I went to southern Africa, I suddenly felt, I was searching from young age. I had this strong search, and I was trying to first, according to the atmosphere I was there. It was an engineering atmosphere, my father and all that. So I happened to get interested in like engines, and I was trying to design a non-stop machine, which is not practical. But then my father was so encouraging. He gave me that encouragement to sort of think like this or to dream in a certain way. But then after that we went to southern Africa, and in southern Africa I got interested in physics, and especially the theory of relativity. සාපේක්ෂ න්‍යාය ගැන මට දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවේ සෑහෙන ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් ආවා. ඒක විශේෂයෙන්ම කාලේ ස්ලෝ ඩවුන් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ටයිම් එක ස්පීඩ් ආලෝක වේගයට සමීප වේගයකට වේගවත් කරනකොට කාලේ time can be stretchable. It can get stretched when you're going to close to the speed of light. So this Einstein's theory of relativity was very fascinating for me. And not only that, with that, I saw my mother's other books. I was reading everything like Bible, the sutras. Then one sutra connected with, the Sakka Panya, the questions of Sakka, how Sakka comes and King of Gods come and meet the Buddha. That was very interesting for me. Why? Because it explains about that realm, that 1,000 years on earth is one day there. And such months, such years. Now it looks fairy tale if you just read on its own. But when you know about the theory of relativity, that's a proven thing, that time could be stretchable, that it can be slowed down. When I got to know this, that made me have connection to that. I had a belief in that these worlds do exist. So what happened, what happened to me was that මම එකකට එනවා මම මේ එන්න හේතු වෙන හේතුවක්. ඒක කවුරුද දන්නවද දන්නේ අපවත් වෙන ලං වෙලා තිබ්බ කරුණක්. ඒකට මම ඒක නම් කියනවා අනිවාර්යෙන්. ඒක කියලා තමයි අර කරුණ ටිකට එන්නේ. මොකද මේව නිකන් මොන හේතුවෙන්ද ආවේ කියන එක ඉම්පෝටන්ට් දැනගන්න. කොහොම හරි then what happened? In these lines, I got the belief that these particular birds do exist, and through belief, when you're already there, your mind is, that world exists in your mind. So what happened? I will be thinking about these things, and I have neglected my studies. So what happened? I had to have a miracle, So those days I had not studied, so So after 2 days, it was my English language, English literature paper. So what I did in the night, I sort of focused through that, and when I felt I am connected to that particular world, but it was through relativity, theory of relativity, that I had a firm conviction that this world does exist. And when it came, when I felt my mind was connected, I knew I was some power was there. So there I approximated the English language, English literature, essay titles. And then next day I told my father to get my tutor to write 2 essays under these 2 headings. So I didn't tell all these things what I did in the night. Even many years later only I was telling. In this program I've been telling more. I don't know why on this visit. So what happened? My father went. My tutor was wondering whether they have not studied everything. And then he wrote. I went to the exam. The papers were there, and the 2 headings were there. And that was my first connection to this particular, that was my first meditation. But there I had a feeling there's other realms do exist like this, it's a nice cosmological order. Because 1 year here, 1 day there, like that, it's the Brahmaloka, like that it goes on. So I also reasoned out that time, if something goes faster than the speed of light, it was very nice to meet physics students here. They were also surprised how I coined this. I mean, I was telling this because I found that, not here, it was in California or New Jersey, I can't remember, where if something goes faster than the speed of light, you can't do practically because mass increases, even the closer speed of light. But mathematically it shows it goes back in time. Let me can you look at my hand and can you picture that? Can you picture? Can you remember what you saw now? Yeah. So actually you have gone back in time, what we call memory. And memory, insight, all these things, which are connected with intuition. Now I got to know also about the frontal lobe that is, active in a human being especially, where all the meditation and whatever. So if something goes, intuition, for example, insight knowledge, I assume that goes to the end of, stopping the time at a speed that will stop time. So this I had it in a theoretical form, in that after about 16, this age, 17. And based on that I had another experience, which I don't know how to explain, I was going for walks, and suddenly it was like, something came to me like anything arises in time, it definitely ends. It's like a flash knowledge of like everything going to disappear. And that at that time I was about to come to States to go to Princeton to study astrophysics. Because through that only I thought maybe, I'll find some answers to questions of life. So after this experience, then I also had a picture of a monk. That monks are people who make this experience come again and again. They are the ones who are experiencing this. They're just covering this temporary body, and that all things are disappearing. They only hang on to this vision. And that I should make this vision happen again and again, and must be such a person, that monk. This is the first thought I got, this particular event. That's the first determination. And then I told my father I want to be a monk. And that time I had no interest to go to Princeton. Why I tell you? All the things I used to see, for example, in Princeton, I see the professors will be dead. They'll be disappearing. And the longest thing that will survive will be the granite building, the lecture halls. Even that I saw as something so fast, like jelly, disappearing. I had no interest. Tell you honestly, from that time to now, I had no interest. And then I came to Sri Lanka. I met my teacher, a German monk. With him, he introduced me to the suttas, the original teachings. I'm going to come to that, the words of the Buddha. And when I'm meditating through that, I had some more experiences, which was, giving me this way. That this was, Buddha was alive in those teachings, that they are not some recorded thing or something. So I come to that. කීදෙනෙකුට තේරුණාද ඒක? තේරුණාද මම කියලාත් ඇති පස්සේ ඉස්සර මේ හැබැයි ඔක්කොම රසාව කරනවද කොහොමද? සමහරට රසාව කරනකොට ඉංග්‍රීසි කොහොමද දැනගන්න බෑ නේද පින්නතුනේ? කොහොමද මම කියාගෙන ආවේ මම දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවෙන් ලංකාවට මේ කියන්නේ ලංකාවෙන් දකුණු අප්‍රිකාවට වැඩම කරාම වැඩම කියන්නේ ගියාම ගිහි කාලේ මේ බෞද්ධ මොකද මොන සාපේක්ෂ න්‍යාය ගැන මට ගොඩාක් හිතමය වුණා. ඒකෙන් දේවලෝකවල තියනවා කියන එක හොඳට තහවුරු වුණා. ඒ දේවලෝකවල තියනවා කියන එක තහවුරු වෙලා තමයි මම ඒකෙන් අනාවැකියක් ඇති කරා මගේ විභාගවලට. මොකද මම මේ පාඩම් කරගෙන ඉන්නේ ඔය වගේ මේ හීන බල කල්පනා කරලා තමයි හිටියේ. ඉතින් මේ අනාවැකිය ආව ඇත්තටම ඉංග්‍රීසි ලැන්ග්වේජ් රචනා මාතෘකාවයි හෙඩින් එකයි ඉංග්‍රීසි සාහිත්‍ය මේ මොනවාද හෙඩින් එකයි. ඒ කියන්නේ රචනායකගේ හෙඩින් එකට මාර්ක්ස් 30 40ක් විතර. කොහොමරි මේකෙන් තමයි මට ඒකකින් ආවා. ඒකට මට ලොකු මේ දේවලෝකවල තියනවා කියන එක මුලට ආවා ඔළුවට. හැබැයි ඒකත් එක්ක තව දෙයක් ඇති වුණා. ඒක මම ඒ කාලේ හිතන මේකත් එක්ක ආවේ කාලේ මේ ආලෝක වේගයට වඩා වේගවත් වුණත් යම් අරමුණක් මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? ඒක වෙලාවේ පිටිපස්සේ යනවා කියලා කියනවා ගණිතේ. එතකොට එහෙම පිටිපස්සේ යන එක මම සමාන කරා මේ මොකද්ද කියන්නේ මම මතකේ මෙමරි එකට. එතකොට මතකයයි මේ මොනවාද තව භාවනාව ඒවා කරනකොට ඒ වේගය වැඩි කරනවා කියලා. එතකොට ප්‍රඥාව විශේෂයෙන් විදර්ශනා ඥානයක් තිබුණා හොඳටම වේගවත් කරනවා. ඒකේ වෙලාව නවතින තැනකට එනවා කියලා. ඉතින් මොහොම ඔළුව තිබ්බේ එකක් තියරි එකෙන් තිබ්බේ. හැබැයි ඒකත් එක්ක මොකද කියන්නේ මොනවාද යම් දෙයක් අත්දැක්ක ඔය ඇවිදින්න වොක්ස් වලට යනකොට කපාටම මේ කොහොම නිකන් ඇති වෙන දේ වෙලාවේ ඇති වෙන දේ සියල්ල නැති වෙනවා කියලා සංඥාවක් ඇති වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ කාලය ගැන තමයි මම හිතේදී ඉතින් මම මේක මට වචන වලින් ආවේ කාලේ මොනවාරි හටගත්තා නම් නැති වෙනවා. anything that begins in time ends. නැතිවීම ඒකත් එක්කම ඔළුවේ හිතේ නිකන් තිබ්බා. ඒ වෙලාවේ හාමුදුරු කෙනෙකුත් සංඥා වුණා. මමත් මෙහෙ වගේ වෙන හාමුදුරුන් කියන්නේ මේ සංඥාව ඇති කරන අය කියලා. දැන් මට ඒ කාලේ කිසිම නෑ ධර්ම දැනුමක් නෑ පින්වතුනි. මොනවත් නෑ. ඊට පස්සේ එක එහෙම නැති වෙනවයි කියන මේකත් එක්ක මමත් මේ වගේ හාමුදුරුන් මට ඔක්කොම ඊට පස්සේ හිතට නෑ. ඒ වෙලාවේ පර්වතයක් දැක්කද මොකක්ද දැක්කේ? එහෙම නිකන් ජෙලි වගේ. ඉතින් මම ඒ කාලේ යන්නේ හිටියේ ප්‍රින්ස්ටන් මේ ඇමරිකාවට තමයි එන්නේ හිටියේ. ඇස්ට්‍රොෆිසික්ස් පාඩම් කරන්න. මොකද ඒ තුලින් මම හිතුනේ මේ පිළිබඳව මට දැනගන්න ලැබෙයි කියලා. ඒ සාපේක්ෂ න්‍යාය අයින්ස්ටයින් පිටියේනේ අන්තිම කාලේ කොහොම නිව් ජර්සි වල කොහොමද මේක අත්දැකීමෙන් පස්සේ මට කිසිම ආසාවක් නැතුණා. මොකද වැඩිම කල් ඔය ඒ ඕන දැන් මම මේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලෙට ගියත් ඒ ප්‍රොෆෙසර්ස්ලා නැති වෙනවා පේනවා මාවත් නැති වෙනවා. වැඩිම කල් තියෙන්නේ අර කළු ගල් වලින් හදපු බිල්දිමනේ. ඒකත් නැති වෙලා පේනකොට කොහොමද? මොනවත් එමෙ හිතෙන්නේ නෑ පිටුපිට. කොහොම හරි ඕක මුල් වෙලා තමයි මම ඊට පස්සේ තාත්තට මහාන වෙනවා කියලා. ඉතින් ඊට පස්සේ අවුරුදු තව 10ක් ගියා පැවිදි වෙන්න. ඉතින් ඒ අතර ගුරු දේවයන් වහන්සේ හම්බුණා ජර්මන් හාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ සූත්‍රවලට යොමු කරා. ඒ සූත්‍රවල භාවනා කරගෙන යනකොට ඒවා කෙලින්ම මට අර මුල් අත්දැකීමට තහවුරු කරන තව බුදුහාමුදුරු ජීවමානව ඉන්නවා කියන එක මේ සූත්‍ර වචනේ. එතන තමයි ජීවමානව තියෙන්නේ කියන එක මම ඒක අන්තිමටම කරන හැටි පොඩ්ඩක් ඩෙමොන්ස්ට්‍රේට් කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා කොහොම හරි මම දැන් කරුණු ටිකක් කියනවා අද කාලීනව මේ කාලේ වැඩ කරන කරුණු ටිකක් පින්වතුනි. මම දැන් 2012 තමයි සමාජයට ඒක පටන් ගත්තේ. 2012 දී හිමාලයේ ඉඳලා එන ආවන් පස්සේ කපාටම සෙනගෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ සෙනග මෙහෙම ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් කියන්නේ මෙහෙම දැන් මිනිස්සු තමයි 8ට ඉඳගෙන උදේ 8ට ඇවිල්ලා හැන්දෑවේ 4 වෙනකන් ඉඳන් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් මම බැලුවා මොකද මේ නිකන් මේ මෙහෙම කතා කරන එක හරිය අහගෙන ඉන්නවා මේකලන් මම කියනවා මොකක් හරි ඒකට ශාන්තියක් යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි මේ මට තේරුනේ මොකක් හරි වෙනවා මේ අයට. ඊපස්සේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් තියන්නම් කියලා පටන් අනිත් සෙනසුරාදා බබට සෙනසුරාදා කියලා ඔහොම සීට්ස් 60ක් තියලා තිබ්බා. ඉතින් එතන තමයි මේ සෙනග කොහෙන් එනවද දන්නේ මේ ඒ පළාතේම කියන පළාත් කියන්නේ මොනස්ට්‍රි එකේ වැල්ලවත්තේ මුලට තිබ්බේ. ඒකෙන් තමයි මේ පටන් ගත්ත පළවෙනි ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඒත් මම ආයි ගියා. ඊට පස්සේ ඔය මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් කීපයක් කරේ. ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ ගියේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ ඔකෙන් තමයි මේ YouTube එකට ගිහින් මම මෙයාට ආවේ. කොහොම හරි ඒකට හේතුවක් තියෙනවා කියලා. මම එදා මට ඉන්වයිට් කරා ඇමරිකාවට මේ එන්න. ඇමරිකාවට මේ එන්න පළවෙනිට ඉන්වයිට් කරේ එක ඇමරිකා මේ මෙහි මහත්තයෙක් මුල් කාලේ තරුණ හාමුදුර කෙනෙක් හැටියට ඉන්නකොට මම ඒ වෙලාවේ මේ මහත්තයට කිව්වේ රහත් වෙච්ච දවසක තමයි එන්නේ කියලා. ඒක මම සෙල්ලමට කිව්ව නෙමෙයි. ඒක මම කිව්වේ ඇත්තටම මේ මොකක්ද සීරියස්ලි. මම රහත් කිව්වම ඔය නම් වල අරමේ ඔය ලංකාව හිතනවා වගේ එහෙම ඔළුවට ගන්නෙ නෑ. මගේ ඔළුවේ තිබ්බේ කවදා හරි රාගය, ද්වේෂය, මොහය මට හිතේ හැටියට අඩු වෙලා තිබ්බ වෙලාවක මම මේක මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට දෙන්න ඕනේ හැමදාම කියලා. ඉතින් පස්සේ මම කරපු වැඩේ ඔහොම ගියා මගේ ගමන. ඉතින් කැලේ ඉඳ වුණා හිමාලයේ ගියා. ඔහොම මගේ ගමනක් මේ ජීවිතේ ගමන් කරා. ගමන් කරාන් පස්සේ දවසක් මට මෙහෙම දෙයක් වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ 2013 14 ඔය හිමාලය යනකොට altitude sickness එකකින් හැදුවා. පිටිපස්සේ මිනිහට තේරෙනවද? Far away, do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sorry? Kamarnya lamanya chance ada mungkin ya. Aku bawa ada. Anda ini, Pauli. Who are age of 21, less than 21, can you raise your hand? More than 21, are you? Kawan mari koin ngari pani tika important tika thira me khatte dena tinga tane neda කොහොමද හරි මේක භාෂා ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණා හරි ඕකේ හොඳම දේ මම එක භාෂාවක් දැනගෙන ඉතන හරිනේ කොහොමද කියන්නේ so I will tell in English, okay? It's easy for me. I had to brush my English also, you know, no point coming all the way to America and I'm speaking in Sinhalese. So, but it was told that this was in Sinhalese. I don't know, it was after 2 days we are having in English something, okay? No problem.
How about if they raise their hand if they don't understand? So then you can stop.
But they'll be shy too. It's okay. It's alright, but don't worry, you get some vibrations also, okay? Bhante is not only from talking here, but if anyone has to go, just raise your hand, just stand up. I want to give some blessings before you go, in case when you have to do some work. I have find some time, because in the end I'm giving something. To do that, if you are going suddenly, I would like to give before you go. Okay? That's my small present for you. And so just I was going to tell that as 13-14. Yeah, when I was a young monk, I was invited to America first time, and there I told that gentleman that when I'm an arhat, I will come to America, and I was not joking about it. Actually, I was not joking about it, but leave alone the name arhat. You see, I was wanted to. When I look into my mind, I thought I should be free from greed, hate, and delusion. Sense of ego and all, I should be pure. I should be, so I was thinking, when I'm pure like that, I must share this Dhamma all over. So when I was thinking like this, anyway my time went, I was 28 that time, then 23, I happened to go through LTT, terrorist area. I was a wandering monk that time, going from, so there are many things that happened there, how I sort of saw them, not as LTT, how I use the, like when you see people, there are ways of seeing that, you look at them as Panchupadanaskandha, but we normally don't train our mind like that. We train to just see like this, the illusion of things. But because we are untrained mind now, sometimes I see also people, I'm trying to teach all this here, that now you do your work, your work is the only world you have. And I can see the stress level in the people. This is my main topic I'll be touching, how to remove stress and how to be cool in whatever situation in life. It's because you have not known the parts of your brain which are, you have not opened that yet. It's not that you have a lot of work or you are in a wrong place, because you don't know the science of stress relieving science, you don't know. You see? So, because you didn't have time to learn that, or no one taught you that. So anyway, I'm going to reveal those things, and which is also going to lead you to Nibbana. Nibbana is a full stress-free, permanent state. So this is actually, now stress is something where we have gone, really opposite to that, so much. And this can't happen if we have really practiced and we have understood life, because we have not understood life, we have understood living. We have qualifications, all that. This is to live in the Kama Loka, the sensual world. But hardly we know about our brain, our mind, our consciousness. And this is not the sort of type of civilization which, make us know about these things. It just make us just run a sort of a life, but with long faces. Okay? With long faces. But real happiness, that we are all missing most of the time. So I must tell you, so I went on, 2003 was like when I was going from the terrorist area, from south of Sri Lanka to north. It took me 1 month to walk, every day, about 30 kilometers. So staying night time in monasteries. So 2004 was a time where I was going from jungle to jungle. And there I had experienced a special experience where I faced pain in deep jungle in Nakas range. And I was able to use, because I had to use the teaching to come out of this pain. And that time I was not prepared, because I would normally manage to do the meditation and suppress the pain, but that kind of meditation didn't work. Then I suddenly remembered my teacher, how he has told us to memorize some of the sutras which analyze the so-called person, to know who you are. Where is me? Is the pain me? Is the feeling you? So if one feeling changes to another, then where do we call ourselves? So there it shows us that the self is an idea. It's not something really staying. So this is something we have to practice and feel, and then in your real life someone is scolding you or insulting you, or some memory you have of a bad thing. These are all you will not, if you don't identify with it, you will not feel it, my friend. You can separate. It's a big difference from taking it as you and taking it as not you. It can make a big shift in how you experience a feeling. So this is something I really was able to sort of demonstrate to myself and overcome that painful situation. And those are one of the occasions that gave me so much peace of mind. And after that I have been practicing this almost every day, that particular technique of watching myself, who is this self, and through as skandhas. So 2004, 2005, I was in the Himalayas, first time as a monk. And like that, then 2009 I am going to a special part of Himalayas. It's called Kailash Mansarovar. I don't know whether you know, it's the western Tibet. And there it's like a, I don't know, Wild West or some place you can call it, maybe like Arizona or, like, I don't know, Colorado, some place. But this is very remote, where the army camps are there. So I was going to this particular place, but it's high altitude. It's high, elevation, and normally you get a sickness called altitude sickness. Now normally people die with this because lack of oxygen, it disturbs the whole system. So I have got it many times, but I managed to overcome it. It was not serious. But 2014 and 2015, I came to the, I would say, doorsteps of death. This was where there's something called where you go trekking 3 days, where you cover the round of that mountain. Second day I got it severe, like blue all over, splitting headache, and I can't make it. Today was a very special day for me actually. Today is a very special day. It's giving me a lot of samvega. I went to see a patient who had been known. And when I saw him also, some memory of that period. It's also, I don't know whether it's recorded though. Anyway, it was a reminder for me, again a reminder that I should pursue this path without dilly-dallying this and wasting time. Maybe this is the last chance we are meeting. Actually, I want to tell all of you also this. This is something, you might think nothing happens to me, but one can be the next person. We are not, I see that we are in a sinking boat, my friends. We are not in a kind of a place where, because we are intoxicated, we are unaware of the reality, what's going to happen. Even I had a lot of compassionate thoughts to Texas. Did you have, floods here also? Did you experience? I mean, what about this temple? I don't know. Really, it was under flood? Then how was it? This much. Oh, okay. So just imagine, that was, I also see some had lost their homes and lives also, I think, and homes. Just imagine, no flood insurance, I heard. Right? They are like, I don't know, but I can see the Syrian refugees there and how the nature. They also thought it's like a separate thing, no worry. But you can see, you don't think you can be the second person in that same boat. I was very happy this gentleman or some, we passed a beggar and he gave this person a beggar. Now in Sri Lanka, some of them, I don't want to tell them, but they would think that they must work hard or something. Of course, if they are taking drugs, you don't directly help them. You can give food and water, or this is opportunity for you to do that. Even these things must be done also. I can't, it's not no time for me to tell exactly how I did things. I had to give my shirts. Those things also I did as a young boy, from the age of 18. Not only just meditation and all that, there was all these things to, feel for the people around you. And, so anyway, these floods, hurricanes and tornadoes, these are good things to always know. So these people also face this. So 2014, 15, I faced this altitude sickness. So 14 was the first one. And then I was not prepared. We were in the one lake called Mansalova. There I was preparing to leave the body. So when I was preparing to leave the body, this practice of watching myself as Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara, Netam Mama, Meso Hamasya, Nameso Attati. This is not me, not myself. And just to watch, but I was, grasping for breath. And when I was doing that, before that another thought came. I couldn't share enough with the people. That all this time I was avoiding to become perfect. And I couldn't give enough of this knowledge and things I could give, now can't help it. And then I came to focus, I tried to focus. So that's not good, I would have neglected something. So this is what happened to me that time, so I knew. So anyway I made it, okay. Then 2015 also, I faced the same situation. I went to the same area. And that was not a time to go also after the earthquake in Kathmandu, Nepal. And I went to see my old people who helped me to go to Himalayas, the agents and all that. But suddenly I saw the possibility of going there and I went there again. Because I thought only way I can bless the world, people will be to go to those places and do my meditation. But I went on the wrong time. And when I went there, this time it was like a no return experience. Normally you go into a coma. How many of you doctors, I don't know, the medical profession, I heard that you go into like a coma, I can't even lift a finger. Now this patient we saw today is actually ailing now, like fading away. He's also I don't know, I can see he's weak, his system is weak. Same thing me, but more weaker, but in a short time. Suddenly, I can't lift my finger. I just have to get, and then breathing like, not like this so much. Like how long to go like that? So the same thing I tried to observe. Then the same thought came, I couldn't share enough with the people. And anyway I made it, okay, I cut short the whole thing, how they rescued me and all that. And then it took some time to recover. So then in Nepal, Kathmandu, I was recovering slowly. Another thing happened, my friends. This was like, I would say, I have heard that the Mara attacked someone who is practicing. We have heard this. But to personally experience this, I don't think most of you have, really this type of experience, I don't think. Maybe in the future, if you're practicing, you might get. That where the Mara, a direct attack of the Mara, I faced. Later I got to know from my teachers. And this was like, I don't know, I can't tell the whole thing what happened. Only thing I can tell is like my robes were like removed, going to be removed. Something like this. I can't tell. Maybe one day in the future I will tell the whole thing what happened. But this close I can tell that it was like something where what I treasure and what I value was like all zero, born to ground level. Then I was trying to survive, to fall mentally, something, the worst thing that could happen. So how to survive? Suddenly it came to my mind, don't person like this. Don't person like this, just a phenomenon, it's just a happening. Now that word was not strong enough to convey what happened to me. So I used a wrong English word, don't egolize this. That means don't solidify this, it's just a happening, it's just a this thing. And when I thought like that it's just a happening, a phenomena, I was able to go forward. And when I was going forward, then only I knew that simple secret of going forward is the secret of success. There are gems waiting for you. So most of us, we get so much, bogged by that and sort of completely this thing, and then we just can't go forward. So it happens to the all who are striving this path. The secret who have went ahead was the people who managed to not to. Your ego is the one that really catches you. If you think somebody did something to me and something happened to me, it's me, that me will, make you have a great, the accident will be so severe damage. So this is how, even the past, most of the things that, like you worry about fear, because you have a wrong misunderstanding of who you are. One time, one person asked me, Bhante, it's nice to know many birds back, many birds in the past, it's nice to know about it. I said, yeah, it's okay, but better to know who you are than know about your birds. When you remember, what do you remember? You remember a rupa, vedana, sanya, a body, a feeling, a perception, a consciousness, right? Say you had some trauma with your bosses where you're working. Someone treated you badly and you have some bad memory, or with your parents maybe, some hurt feeling. What is that? What is these parents? They are sanya, vedana sanya, a perception. It arises there and passes away. But you want to go to that memory and really think for yourself. Is this me, that experience? Is there a me in that? So if you check that if it has passed there, and then you will be noticing that it's a me was a wrong idea, misconception. Do you get this point? I will be demonstrating something. These are very important practically for you to apply the Dhamma, where you can remove all your defilements, because we are not cleaning our mind. We are so dishonest. Our practices we are just hypocritical. All our things we are never looking into our mind and making it a shrine. You understand? Sometimes we have petty things so much. If someone does something, we will be angry with these people. This happened to my parents also. I'm feeling this sometimes, I don't know why. Like, some good friend, he suddenly tells some negative thing to another friend, okay? And then what happened? It happened with my father. I don't know, I hope you don't mind I am telling these things. When we were in those countries, and then just because of that, they didn't meet or talk until they left the country. I mean, how low I was thinking, nobody taught this, how to look at your own defilements, and to know that this is not a developed state of mind, to have that kind of grudge and sort of this thing. You understand? You know, make an important. When you come matakuna me points to you. Sorry? Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I can see most of you, some of you, I met, but your shade is little bit low. 3 groups I met, one in Switzerland, Italy, and next one was in, where was it? It was in San Francisco. Okay. Third one, you're not too much, but the first one, they were being taken to gallows, Okay. But I understand from the environment that you're coming. Okay. You have so much stress, so much thing to do. You made it here means it's a great thing also, I must tell you. Now I have some idea of your life. It's a great thing that you made it here also, right? So those people, I was so touched, especially in, not in Switzerland, in Italy. That group it took me 1 hour to get a smile out of them. Because, they were having so much, I don't know what, Later I got to know they have been working and coming, and that whole work atmosphere is, like putting them into another type of. So I would give great blessings to that group. I'll never forget that. And one in California. But I'm going to teach you some techniques and some points which are going to help you very practically. And this is what Buddha has also told, but I'm going to relate it to your life normally. So I told you why I came, okay? So then they try to organize 2016 for me. The organizers, but 2016 it didn't work. I went to Himalayas again, nothing happened, it was okay. And then 2017 he started from Australia. So one thing I must tell you, 3 years back, I was in Rishikesh in the Himalayas. You are not familiar, I guess. In that area, I met one like a Brahmin, like someone like a Rishi, I don't know whether you know, like a seer who has samadhi power. So he suddenly was talking to me and then suddenly he told me, what was it? In 3 years' time, when you are 45 years, Swamiji, they call me Swamiji there, you will not have any time even to come to this area. It was so true. It was this year. You can see I'm so stuck, program after program, and even from starting from Australia. So it was very true. So I'm just giving you some points of, you have some destiny, some karma. There are people who can see that also. So this is also helpful to know that like your life work according to some pattern, and it's not by chance. So there are so many to relate about this, but I don't think I have time to do that. So now I'll come to some of the main points I want to explain. Before that, anything you'd like to ask me? Let's see, like that. I'll start. Anything you like, maybe Bhante would explain about this or that. Before I go to my normal. Anything?
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
So when you talk about all the
Different
higher
levels,
levels,
yeah.
deeper levels, so it was said so many miles or so many distance, but as you know, this is a global, it's a circular, so it cannot be a planar.
No,
Something
not in the sky like that. I think it's a dimension. Dimension
Right.
is a state of consciousness also.
Right.
That's the best way. The most closest way of defining those planes of experience, we call it, is consciousness. So there are higher planes of consciousness.
So not really physical.
No, that is a very
Okay.
primitive type of
Okay.
like, just because lack of knowledge about, you think like that. Anything you like to, someone there?
It's like letting go something.
Yes.
Is what I heard that most important thing to do.
Yes, I was telling my own personal experience. This was the worst experience I had in my whole life, I would say. What I treasured, these are really I experienced, and that's why I told you how I managed to survive. I told to myself, don't egolize it, don't solidify this, it's just a phenomenon, and to let go, that's right, and to go. So I'm repeating this because this has some power, because this I faced, and it will click in your mind in case when you're facing, because we hear in the Dhamma, let go, but how much we can do this? This is something we have to do and see the blessings of it, and how you can save yourself from any body fear.
It's meditation connected with how you can improve the power or the way you can let things go yourself.
Yes. Meditation means let go will happen naturally when you have, that's why it's called evam passan yata bhutan. This is called the type of vision you will get when you see things as they are. Evam passan yata bhutan. If you get the right vision, there's a sign of it. Nibbindati, virachyati, you get detached, dispassion will come. It's like you're holding a string and suddenly you see a snake. Is there a question of letting go? You just let go. You're not letting go because you're not having a vision of your own. So now I'm coming to that very good question there, because now I am touching what blocks you that vision in your day-to-day life. What makes you not experience this? So normally it is meditation we call samadhi, which will help us to have panya. But for samadhi, the base of samadhi is sila. So that is where I am touching. Actually, this is for practical reasons, and lack of sila only cause stress also. The stress and all that is, I will relate it to biology, brain function. Have you ever gone through YouTube any of your, what I have already told? No, no? Your first meeting me live is okay. Okay. Right, so I will explain this point right now, okay? Because it started from a nice thing. Now my friends, normally in your life, you have, my God, this, but just depending how boring the people who know me, this I've been telling for so many programs, but I will share with you all because it might, because you are new here. In your life, make a matter, I agan so much. They're all very nice people I met all the way. They're all special people. I'm happy for my journey. I don't think I have wasted my time coming. And I see there are some people I definitely, it was good that I met. So I explain like this. This is helpful for me also. There are sometimes in your life, suddenly you find you are putting your things into mud. Sometimes you are coming for programs like this, doing good, and suddenly you are doing things that are like out of the track. So when you are like, those things that are hidden, maybe it's in the, toilet, and now today not only toilet, it may be in the computer. It can be in any other form, going to the bar, going to some kind of, notorious place. These things could happen today, should happen. So when you are happening, something like that, you should know, and suddenly you are going and coming for these programs, so trying to meditate and like these things. Now this is like putting into mud and washing. When you have these things, you must know, what are these things? You are activating raga, desires, aversion, or negative emotions to a certain pitch. When you are activating to the certain pitch, there are dimensions that you get connected to that frequency. And there are beings in those dimensions, they enter your body, they enter your system. I will explain, don't worry, be patient, okay? When they enter your body, they give you the driving force to do those negative things. So you wash again and you suddenly feel tempted to do certain things, okay? Now, when you are doing like that, you must know that this is like a vampire that sucks all your goodness. Because your character is damaged daily. And then what happens? Say now, when you get to know like this, there are certain beings that they are in the body, because from the action we can know. When we are driven, now the other way is very nice, the MRI scan, which shows the brain function. It shows how addicts, how the dopamine is released. So this is, I will touch that carefully, but it's very interesting because that gives you a clear idea what you are, where you are losing your energy, mental energy, and where you are activating the damaging part of your brain, damaging function of the brain. And the very special part you got as a human being, how it is going to slowly get, damaged completely. So when you know you are putting into yourself mud, you should know there are these invisible forces in your system. So next time when the temptation comes, you be careful. It may be a person that comes and calls you to do something, okay, some contact, or it may be now in the internet, the computer, okay, certain website certain button you are going to press, which is going to drain that energy, okay. I will explain in detail about it. So when you do like that, or to maybe some place you want to go, definitely you have this problem, or you do something in the toilet which you don't want anyone to know what you're doing. Now when you're doing, you're draining all your energy, my friends. So there, when you know, next time you will know that I'm not going to damage myself, or because you have to two things, you need to do something sinful. One thing, you must have these negative forces, give you the driving force. The other one is, you will justify it. You will tell it may be good for my, health, some, to relieve stress, or this is biological need, or you will call it, that may be good for reducing cholesterol. Some people are drinking wine that it reduces cholesterol. You don't need to take the tablet. This is France, they were telling. So you have to justify to enjoy a sinful thing. And if you know when you're really going to be damaged, you're not going to do that, my friend. So people like us come and spoil your party. Tells you, but you see what is happening, okay? I'm not going to tell you to believe as I'm telling. You know, I'm sort of revealing some of the things that are happening. So what happens, when you do like that, you will keep away. Okay? You will avoid those people, you will avoid pressing those buttons in the internet, or you will avoid those contacts which stimulates that immediate rush of negative hormones. Okay? When you do like that, you keep away 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then you don't give nourishment to these particular forces. And those holes in your character, they get patched up. And when you do this for some time, you'll find you will get, oh wait a minute, I was going to explain this, but I was going to, okay, I will. So now my friends, now when you're keeping away like that for a few days, 1 week, 2 weeks, then those nourishment is not given to those particular beings. And your certain energy which you're losing, you're going to reserve that energy. Now my friends, reserving, when you enjoy your some pleasure, some addiction or some pleasure, you're losing a lot of energy. Now when you're reserving that, you're doing that, you're reserving a lot of energy. Now that energy is necessary to go inside. Now why we get stressed? Because we lose energy like that. How much we, so now when we focus like that, when we are reserving, not doing those things, we get a certain energy reserve, a lot of energy, mental energy. Now this energy is normally called, there is no medical term now. Normally the opposite way we know when we are having negative emotions, we have adrenaline and endorphins. Adrenaline is the main one. Now the opposite one, when you are little bit reserving energy and having that good feeling inside you, it's called ojas. Ojas, tejas. This is the Ayurvedic term actually. So this ojas is normally something which goes through your nerves and goes to the areas of brain which were not functioning before, and they get deposited there. And after that, they make you have these particular thoughts, good thoughts. So there is a cycle you create like this. More ojas is created, and more it creates these nice thoughts and nice inclination, good inclination. And then it overpowers the negative cycle. When this is done very much, my friend, it will show in your body also. You see, you look more handsome, you look more pretty, or that there will be a charm in you. Normally you can see there will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead. So the other way when you do, you are like a clown, my friend. You might have a bath and go out of the bathroom, but your personality is so much, you'll be chattering a lot, you'll be walking in such a way, no one, because most of you are doing that, so you can't recognize. But your personality will become a weak personality. You understand? When people come, they don't care about you. You have to be aggressive to get attention, or use your own like the animal nature. So this is what the negative side. The positive side, you become more charming, you become more magnetic, you have a restful feeling. So this is very important. Many want to reduce stress. This is one main stress relieving thing, to remove the hidden activities. Now the other thing, I came quickly to that. Normally I explain, it is very well known, mindfulness has a stress busting effect. Have you got to know that? In modern even the modern scientists, they have got to know very well. Even little bit feeling the touch of your hand on the ground, your legs on the ground, or your hand on the chair, just noticing that, and just paying to simple attention how you feel that it has a stress busting effect. If you do it for a few minutes. So I have, now these are my friends, the master teachers, the teachings, Buddha says, this is called Iriyapate. The Kayagata Sati and Iriyapate. This is actually where you pay simple attention to your body movement and the moment. So this is only one that they have now very well known. There are another 3 more. 3 more if we practice, so I don't want to reveal all that, so maybe they'll take it to NASA and put it out in a certain form. So really, there are another 3 more, which will, now I have already explained one actually, I already did that, but the one I should have explained first I'm going to tell now. This is about the mindfulness. So this was in England. I happened to, he was one pupil, I would say. He took me from one program to the other. Gentleman, I don't think he wants me to talk much about it. He even told me to get recorded and some other things. So it's dangerous to come with me because the programs I might take you on as guinea pigs, you know. So anyway, I'm not going they are very, so he was one of them who took me, and there's another gentleman who also was. Now, normally it is told to the organizers that don't talk when you are taking Bhante. I mean, I like to meditate and I'm gathering energy. These are my techniques. I'm trying to teach you all. So, so that is a way where I would focus on my body and relax and go on while driving. I mean, while going on the ride. So this, so some gentleman, he's the main one, I think. Sorry, I'm not going to reveal the other one. I don't want to name it also. The one regarding what was it, they would ask questions, they are very curious because they are also following this path. They really want to know something. So they break the rule of keeping silence. They ask Bhante, can I ask you something? Is it okay if I talk? So I said, okay, no problem. And then they used to ask me this and that. The main question I found they used to ask was how to meditate while doing your work. Now, I knew all the time explaining won't do, So suddenly I told one gentleman, not him because, I couldn't teach him that time, but another gentleman I remember, I just told him, my friend, let's try now, let's practice now. You just feel the steering wheel you're touching. Just feel it. Don't think other lot of things, just feel it only. Just try to really feel it. So, and then his chair was reclining like that. So I just told him to relax in the chair like this. And then feel the touch of the back to the seat. Just feel the touch. And relax. And just look, of course, what your head, but just feel that simple thing. And when he was doing that, he was quiet. So I just allowed him. I knew he was getting some idea what to be done. Because then I knew that because my friends, inside your brain or mind, there is a cool pond. We don't touch that cool pond. We are in the consciousness, we are in the stress part of the mind. So there is something inside you, normally we don't know about, it's always there. Only a simple focus to that direction, you will be free from any stress or worry. But we don't do that. To do that we have to, the doorway is to be in the moment and to pay attention to that experience, just simple experience, what you're going through. This is called Iriyapate, Kayagata Sati, close to that. So these are small points given, but now the Western people also they are getting to know that this has a stress busting effect. But this is only one, but this is something we can do. So so when I did that, then he was telling, the end of the journey, he said, Bhante, I never experienced this kind of peace before. And I wish you are always seated next to me. So that is because he was experiencing that equanimous state. Upeksha sahagata feeling. Just a little bit taste of it. You can plunge into that pool. That is samadhi. Okay, this is only just getting how much nice you feel. So now some of them also told me in England, I found I was very happy because all this effort I am doing, I hope people should get, they realize that just finishing their exams, getting a job, getting married, getting children, this is not to wait for it. Going to office, finishing a project, finishing some assignment, peace is not got from them. They got to know that peace you experience and do that with peaceful mind. You understand this? Make an important point there. So in the mornings you get into that peace, and for that you must know that what affects is your sila. How you did it, and it will enhance your work. Now many people think when you are doing like this, you will become a monk or somebody. No. If you are a wife, if you are a husband, if you are a son or a daughter, or you will become a super wife, a super husband. Because there you will have not those negative emotions and you will know how best to perform. And so this is very important. This Iriyapate, this is some practice. So I found next another person, it was going viral a little bit. Someone picking me from Birmingham. He came 4 hours driving, I think, and he told me that Bhante, he had not met me. He said, Bhante, I came, I didn't feel the journey. Correct. You don't feel bored. The time will just, you're mastering time. And so these are very important practically for you to try out. I hope you can do this. So these are actually the gradual training of the mind. This is what makes you to attain Nibbana. So this is called Charya Dharma actually, your spiritual lifestyle. So now we are relating it to normal stress and all these things. So this is one thing I want to explain, but actually this is one. The second one is called sense control. Now the sense control, the gross kind of distracting parts I explained, like addictive area, where you suddenly put your mud and like that, and how you remove, and then how you get the shine. So I normally say when you get that shine, you don't have to apply Nibbana. You know, Nibbana you have, right? You will have that natural beauty, the charm. So I tell no need cosmetics, you know. Because look, I have seen some people, I remember I worked 2 years in one office, and the finance controller who I was working under, she used to have lipstick, I never forget. And I was very observant that time. Then I used to notice it was like on a dead body, you know. No life, you know, it's like something you have put some paint, no aura, no nothing. Then I was that time also very, I was thinking, don't know what they must be up to. They must be going to all these parties and they're educated, okay, but they have no idea about their character and they look much older. Now the other thing is when you're like that, if you're 20, you will look like 35, 40. If you're 30, you become older, you look drained out. So this is the negative side of it, the other way. So the another one, now I will come. I had an experience with something called rishis. No? I don't know whether you know, there's certain who have some mental power. They were able to manifest some things that are unseen. So like sometimes behind you also there are certain invisible forces that follow you. Okay, you might not be aware immediately, but I'll tell you how to be aware. So these rishis were able, one rishi I remember, like a master, he was able to bring those beings into the body and make them talk. So one mother has brought, I was there that time, a mother brought a young boy who was not, he was having a lot of problems, like he was always with the computers and going to parties and what was it, and so many complaints, not studying and so restless. So there's a lot of problems were happening with this child. So then suddenly this rishi, the master, I saw that he suddenly sort of went into a mental state and suddenly this boy was unconscious. Then this boy was going like this, and someone else was talking through that boy. And then this master asked, "Who are you?" He said something like snake spirit or something. And then he said, "When did you come to this body?" Then he said, "When he was 13 years old." "How did you come?" "When he was playing games." When he was playing games, I had no idea what the relationship with that time actually. But I came to my senses, like when you have a positive consciousness, positive thoughts, you have a consciousness which is positive. Okay, like good compassion or some positive feeling. But the negative one, kill or something, like something, I don't know, which is have no meaning really. Then it creates the mind weakness, and then it creates a consciousness which is a weak consciousness. So that is, with that kind of reasoning, I had an idea like that. Then you are getting contact with those lower dimensions. But very interesting thing was that with the MRI scan, it shows the dopamine level that is released with the computer game, that is addiction to computer games. They have found everything that has an addiction has the dopamine released, and it's equal to the heroin addict. Have you ever known this? Oxford University, they have made this research very clearly. Not only games now, there are other things also. So very interesting how this is, like with the modern day. So the other one was, what was it? The other place a spirit told that when he presses the button in the internet, that already he's under our control. So it could be a website, it could be, I don't know, no, sorry. He said, when we, the one place they said he entered the body through Facebook. So my friends, only the name Facebook I know to operate YouTube. Tell you honestly, for the programs I have been operating YouTube. To give you something, I am borrowing everywhere because I don't want to make it a secret. And this is like sky and this thing for me. So everywhere I have to ask them, the organizers, for your purpose. And I really wish I didn't even, bring that kind of thing to the room and use it also. Because I can see the great damage that is happening, but you can't tell today to remove computers. That's not a practical thing. We have to be enlightened about this. Okay, the computer is a neutral technology. It's neutral. Only thing, the children and the adults also, they have to be known to, or be told the damage that is happening from this. So that, they know to take the information that is necessary and they are aware of this, so they know to avoid it and not to lose that vitality and their main essence. So this is two things I want to cover. So very interesting, the dopamine, the rush that is there. And the other one is, normally, you see, it is known that, very interesting, the rules that are given to us as a monks, like, there are two sets of rules that is called grave offense and minor offense. Now, grave offense, the Buddha very much tells about the brahmacharya, that is abrahmacharya, breaking the celibate rules, connected with sex mainly. So, very interesting, where that rule is broken, that means it's a peak experience of the sexual activity. Okay, I can't tell you in words because it's not very this thing. So, but that experience, when you go through that, the MRI scan, very interesting, how it shows the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. The brain that analyzes, studies the frontal lobe, which analyzes memory, rationalizing, visualizing. This part of the brain is completely shut down. This is a special part. That part, the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. At the peak experience of it. Then I thought how the master has seen like this. I mean, just imagine how it is for our protection. So now, those days when he laid down those rules, it was happening only to few people in that society. But today, it's difficult to find it is where it's not happening. So there is perversion also. Today, I mean, there are now it was not told to us also in our schools, nowhere, no idea about it in this modern time. So we also have to face that. So I remember, so normally I tell actually, without the function of any particular this thing, without the real purpose, the function of any this thing, it's actually, it can lead to a perversion. So normally I say marriage is like becoming a monk also. You stick to one person. How boring that person is, that is a protection for you. And the later you should be doing the meditation and removing all this wrong view, wrong vision, and perfecting your consciousness, raising your consciousness with meditation. And then that way it is, you only get connected to your wife or husband for a purpose of creating a child. Any other thing other than that, one is creating a great psychological damage. So this you can know how the MRI scan shows, and the dopamine rush, it shows that equal to you become addicted. And today we don't need the reality ones, like especially with the internet. There are so many ways. The internet is a big way of training this particular energy. And there is a group, very interesting, a group knowing the damage of this. They are formed like vegan, this one. Now that is with like good health, food and all this, right? Something similar to this group. Another group has formed knowing the damage of being non-celibate. And doing all these perverted activities. That's why I told about the hidden things which attract spirits and all that. This, another group who keep away from this. Now this is a challenge also, because we have got so addicted to this. So they have now made like 3 days of keeping away from that. 1 week, 1 month, like that, counting the days. So then the brain gets time to repair. And this thing. So this group is called NoFap. N-O-F-A, single P. You have never heard, no? Oh, goodness. So NoFap, I mean, this may be the only monk who will reveal these things, I will tell you that. Because this is, you check in the YouTube, not now. Don't check now. When I'm in the airport, you check. Okay? When I'm leaving this state, alright? Thing is, I'm revealing very, but I think it should be told. I wish someone told us, because these are timely. Kalina prashna. Me kale yuge ane taruna eda 14 from the age of 14 people should be knowing. I wish someone told us these things, you know. We got all misinformation. And so this, I hope, no fat, this is one thing. And it's connected with internet also, so much, you know, stimulating, activating the senses. And then it leads to this kind of thing, and it drains the whole system. And when it happens, it becomes addictive, and the invisible forces join, and the dopamine rush is so much. They are equal to heroin addicts. Damage of the brain is happening in the brain who are addicted to diabetes. This is sexual activity. Okay? I don't want to tell you. So these are some things I hope you all can, it might help you. Now, this is where the sense, when you don't control those things, stress will be a natural thing for you. Okay? Just be mindful of the legs. It will have some stress relieving effect. But when you have these hidden things doing, when you are doing like that, definitely you will not be free from real stress. I mean, you will have relative levels of peace. I have seen people, you know, you can see them rushing their personality. They're confused in normal activity also, and they look like drunkards. Now, those days, dopamine was only released by taking alcohol. Today, alcohol is available inside a computer. You get it? Do you get this? Because that same addictions are there, I think, not only games, there are other things. Novelty, you know, there's so many novel ways you can, what was it? Maybe texting and all these things, you know, where your mind, because that is where you can't, there's so many ways it's happening. I forgot to, I wish I could lay down, but definitely with games and pornography is so much with this. And this is something too, I mean, excessively this happening. And this is leading to that the group now who are NoFap is connected with removing this kind of recognize. It's very interesting. This is in Western countries, in UK and America. These people are doing no Buddhist, no religious affiliation. Simply, so that is really great, you know. That's very great. So I wish our Sri Lankan people, they get educated quickly because they are Buddhists and they are doing all this pinkamas, everything, but they are not, you know, destroying their system. So I'm sure this should not happen. So this is the things that generally I have laid down. The sense control. This is with the sense control, okay? And Bojana Matani, actually dopamine is also, it's called food, control of food, tasting of the food. So this is also one practice. Now these are, they are to clear your way. When you have enough, when you do like this, you have enough tranquility to have daily practice of samadhi with buddhaguna or metta. With that you can, and there's another one, finally, is to see who you are, to analyze. So there are now, sometimes I explain the hard nature here. Hard nature here is just simply hardness. Okay, now in the past you didn't have the idea of electrons. So there, the way people knew about, explained about the matter was in terms of the 4 elements. But that is just to get an idea that this idea of these elements here or there is same. You know, when you get hard here, yeah, it's hard, same thing, isn't it? So because it's in this space, we get the sense of, it's my hard thing. Now fluid nature, like with fluidity, you can have the water flowing, and the blood in your veins is simply blood. When you have urine in your bladder, you know, you put it out into this thing inside. When it's here, you feel it's me. But when it's in the water, you know, it's just an idea. So to know this wisdom, this is where the type of meditation, to know how this idea of self comes. It comes in your mind. මේක දැක ගන්න සිම්පල් සූත්‍රවල දේශනාවල සිම්පලි ඕක තේරුම් කරන්නේ. ඒක කඩලා පෙන්නනවා ඒ concept එක, how the concept is formed, it is broken down in the suttas. So those days when the hair was cut, people got enlightened. මම කොන්ටෙන්ට් එක කරන්නේ ඒක විකරේ නෑනේ. නේද? අලුත් එකක් තියෙනවා මම දැන් කරන්නේ. ඒක දැක්කද නෑනේ? මේ මාත් දැක්කනේ. Okay. මේක ඇමරිකාවල. So this is very important. So now I'm coming to the main part, you know, the how to do vipassana. Vidarshana means, so now I used to, when I was a young boy, age of 18, when I used to read those suttas, I used to apply to myself and see that this is not made out of me. So I had an auntie who used to get very angry, you know. So I was left behind by my parents to get pocket money from her. So one day she actually, took us to the tooth relic with passes. And then next day I want to go again. Now that time LTD problems and all that, So suddenly I want to go again, and then she was wondering why I want to go in the line, that was something I want to do, and then she went on scolding. When she went scolding like that, suddenly I was practicing about how this body, this ears are made out of 5 elements. This is hard nature ear, hard nature. It's not my ear. And the sound I'm experiencing is also not mine. So when I was focused like that, she scolded me, and there's no reaction. And that was the first and the last day she scolded me. So this have to be practically, you have to see the world through that, whether it's maybe with bosses. I've seen, wives, after practicing this, when the husband was scolding them in the kitchen, they did this. And that way they will not to react. Because they don't feel, they will not react. Okay? So I'm going to show something. I need a marker. I'm couple of corners. Okay. couple of I'm going to demonstrate something with you, okay? But this is a message specially for you all here. This I created it in my channel. There's quite a community in this area, no? How many of you have to work in the night time today? No? I mean, here they are sometimes go for night work and today no. But tomorrow early morning maybe. I did 3 classes here. So I have actually very fancy glass here, all decorated and all that. This is fancy, but it's medium-like, Also good. I'm sure if I drop it, no one will appreciate that. Okay. And there is a plastic glass also. Okay. So let me taste in the fancy glass. Okay. Water, alright? See how it tastes. Like a crystal glass or something. It's very nice. It's very refreshing. Yeah, very nice. Let me try with this one, okay? This one is not good as that one, but let's see. Yeah, it's really nice. Okay. The plastic one, okay? It's very light. It's equally nice. It's also light, I don't feel even carrying this. Which one would you like, any one of you? If I'm going to share with you all, which one would you like out of this? Would you like to take which one? Sorry?
Either one.
I don't hear properly.
Crystal.
Crystal one, eh? Okay, this is a message for you all. Good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Anyone else?
Plastic one.
Now, I don't want correct answers or anything, right? I just want what you really would choose. Sorry?
Either one should be fine.
Okay.
Neither.
Okay. You can drink air then, right? Alright. Now my friends, did the taste of the water change for many of these glasses? Just imagine. Maybe if I drop this, I was playing cricket when I was young, but in case I drop this, I'm sure my devotees will, replace one. Just imagine, this is your life here. You see, sometimes there's no purpose. Some of the houses you're having, your vehicles you're having, you're paying so much loans, and so on. It's like a white elephant. You understand? But thank you, you're honest. This will make a point to all of them. So you see, you will have to, this headache you have. Now I heard boats also. You have these speed boats here. Some of them having, I don't know, here in California, New Jersey, they're having boats, but they are with loans. So I'm just thinking, nice, you're speeding with a speedboat and thinking about how to pay the loan. It was really interesting for me when I got to know the real situation. Just imagine, you have a plastic cup, you'll be drinking well, it's okay. But sometimes maybe you have already a crystal one and you want to make it plastic, and it takes more money and things to do that. No need there. It doesn't mean this kind of simplicity is only, it's going to help you out to think that way. To take that other way as a false value. Understand? Not to pursue, you're wasting time and energy, but you can see it's the American dream they call it, right? I call it the American nightmare. Very interesting thing happened to me. I'm not an arahant, okay, but something happened nice to me. I was passing Manhattan. Okay, I think you all were there, right?
Yes,
sir. Okay. So when I was passing Manhattan, I was just thinking, now it started in Melbourne also. When I was in they had in the itinerary, okay, I will tell you the interesting story in France. It happened when I was passing Eiffel Tower. So I was passing the Eiffel Tower, and suddenly my organizer was telling Bante, this is Eiffel Tower, Bante. I told my friend, I didn't come to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower. I came to Paris to show you how not to see Eiffel Tower. And very interesting thing happened after that, I just told him like this in the car. And then later, after a few programs, he took me to a nice place called Lourdes. I don't know, where miracles happen, and I like these kind of places. So they took me to Lourdes, and there, suddenly there were like two Asian people there, couple. It was this lady and gentleman. So he came, and then what happened? They came over. You're from Sri Lanka. Yes, said we are from Sri Lanka. And then suddenly they said. He was telling this Bante is doing programs in Europe, and he has come. Oh, is that the monk who didn't look at the Eiffel Tower? I was so surprised, really. I was shocked. I was thinking I think he has maybe put into the Facebook or something. I think something like that, right? Your Facebooks, How I was just telling like a secret here. So after that, I'm very careful to say something because I think it just go everywhere. I was really surprised. So other interesting enlightening thing that happened to me was in Manhattan, right? So when I was going there, actually my meditation was really picking up. I was very happy. I didn't feel it was some big place. Later I understood why it was, what it is. Why you feel fascinated by the things that you see from the five senses. Why? Because there's inner poverty. Because you're poor inside. If you are rich inside, you will not. What is richness? It is to have wisdom and to have inner experiences of higher consciousness. This will look like, a frog's well, or it will look so small and so petty, or so. But why you feel sensually at this thing? Normally it is said when the head is well at stretch, like a covered or well-formed roof, the water does not penetrate. It's in the Dhamma. When rain comes, it doesn't penetrate through. So same way, a well-formed mind these sensual things don't make a tantalizing effect or sensational. So if you're feeling sensations, surely then your insight is very poor. So that inner poverty makes you feel, so that is okay. Now it's a nice way of putting it. Okay, so now you know in case you feel attracted, you feel shy and something. So this is where, if this is there, Paul Sambale Bhattu will be okay. And I'm not telling it's good to come to this country. I think there's some good karma for you to come here. Because I think among Sri Lankans, it's the cream of Sri Lankans who are out of the country. I feel this. So, but only thing, and the other thing is, sometimes you can also feel being in this environment a lot. You can feel like a kind of a inferior complex, because this society plays certain values and so on. Way of speaking, way of behavior, and you feel like some inferior person, even the Africans feel. Okay, that definitely that racial thing is there. I mean, unless some people are really developed, and there are people also among the society, but some of the people, they could be, because they are not also developed. They think the whole world is Texas. You understand? They are not seen. So, that is some of our good data magic. And so you have to have compassion and some understanding. So if you have this coolness in mind, it is so much, I found one girl I got to know in Birmingham. She used to, there's one gentleman who gave a speech why he became a Buddhist. He was an Englishman. When he was young, how something inspired him. He saw one lady used to come to his mother's grocery to buy something, and she was an Asian lady. And she was so poor, she was not having, she used to buy a small thing and go. So but she was looking so happy. So one day he asked the mother, Mama, who is that lady? Then she has said that is a Sri Lankan lady. And then asked why she's always happy? Because she's a Buddhist. You see, this is very important. You will be saving their soul. You will be, whoever you are working with or you are under, this is your inheritance. You have got the arahants. The sasana has been established so much in your nation. I mean, for me, the only attraction in Sri Lanka is the Buddhism, or the teachings, and the ancient jungle with the Balagambara, the period of that, the arahants, how they have stayed. These are my main, I really love that country because of that, not the Sinhalese or any other cultural thing, no. The Buddhism, Buddha's teaching is so, I mean, it's the great land in that way. So, this is something, so when you're here, you should get that pride, a pride of having no pride. Okay? You should get that pride, having no pride. Then what about you? තාම මොකක්ද එකක් හිතේ තියෙන එයාපොට් එක එනවද නැද්ද කියලා මම තමයි කියන්නේ මට කලබල වෙන්න මේ කාලේ පොඩි කර්මයක් ගෙවන්න තමයි මේ ආන්දරේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් වලට එහෙම තමයි මාත් මේ ආන්දරේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් වලට එනවා කියන්නේ මේ මැෂින් එකට එනවා වගේ මම ඒකයි කියන්නේ කවවත් ඇදගෙන එන්න එපා දැන් මේ බුද්ධ ගයාවට when people go to Buddha Gaya, some of them they complain, Bante, we were there, we were meditating, but we had so much problem just coming to Buddha Gaya. So I used to tell them, my friend, one Thai lady asked me this, I never forget. So I said, don't worry, madam. Buddha Gaya is like a hospital. Your karma has been operated. This is what happens. So I see in my programs also, but good you came, you made it. It will have some blessings in the future. And because sometimes when you are following this path, you have more problems. That means you are really progressing. If you are not having problems, that means you are not doing anything. If there's pain coming, that means the knife is going and taking the, thorn out. If no pain, thorn is still inside. Okay. So this is some Dhamma is a mystical thing. It has some, if you're really following, some things will happen. You must know the Buddha is a life thing, His force, his energy, his compassion is still flowing. And when you're going, whatever that happens, you must take it as a blessing, which is unseen. Maybe later on, in the future, you get to know what you have went through. So now I'm going to see now how the no self, okay? I'm coming to the end part of the program slowly. For this, I need somebody's hair donation. Anyone want to donate their hair? A little bit, not all.
I can donate.
Okay. You can come.
Okay.
So, I will not disturb your style.
Don't worry.
How much you feel this hair like it's yours?
Not much.
Really, it's not a wig, right?
No. I don't need
Do you
that.
feel this is your hair? Tell honestly what you really feel. Just what you really feel now. When I
It's
feel
my
like-
hair.
Okay. He's taking his hair, right? It's my hair. Cut little bit. Now, how much you feel is your hair?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Yeah.
Still a little bit?
Still I have that, yeah.
Sense of this. Not look properly now?
Not that attachment.
Okay. And do you feel it is you also? Okay, take a seat. Solid one. Just. You think in the past, when the hair was cut, this truth was seen. Just imagine, this cutting is to be done from your mind, really. I'm making graphic. So really, because it's in this space, you get a sense of I. And it's also with the feeling, you see. And actually, it was never yours. This was never yours. So every part of you, it's a parts, if you break, it's not yours. And if you take a mind, a consciousness cannot arise without a body, remember this. So all that is also parts. If you break part by part, it's nothing, it's finished. No you there, no memories. Memory is not you. And so to break this part, so just because it's in this area, you get this sense of I. But these things you have to meditate. That's why I'm telling. Now, actually, these are told simply by the master in the Buddha's teaching. So you have to learn to relate it to your own personal life. And it needs a certain exercise. So when you're relaxing and watching yourself, and this, at least if you can do a little bit in the morning. So this is like the Buddha, this is regarding like the four elements. Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Patari, the hard nature as a nature wise. And the liquid nature, it is to remove the misconception of you is this body. So to do that, why? When you have physical pain or emotional pain, you will not take it as your pain. Maybe your mother sometimes hurt you, your father, but you know that it's a perception in the consciousness. But when you know this body is not you and the consciousness is not you, it's like parts. If you can think like that, will you feel hurt by that? You will not have the attachment to get hurt. So with children also, wherever you feel attached, you should really learn to remove this. Now the patient we look today, we are going to be in this condition. He's not an old man. We think that it doesn't happen to us, We are just imagining, okay, he's sick, I'm not going to be sick. We think he's born sick. When we see old people, sometimes we think they were born old, We never thought that they were like us one time. This how, because we see it in a very, not in a... So this is something where we learn to remove this illusion and free yourself. So I recommend normally, I don't know, in English language, the translations of the suttas. This is, I tell we need to have a GPS for this. Maybe you can look into my YouTube, this thing, more details, and maybe you can, that will give you a real path. Do you think I have found the real way? How do you know? Maybe my face is shining. Maybe I applied Nibbana before coming. We can't judge, my friends. We can't see from an external way. We normally reflect our own. I had one Kapakaru when he took me to Himalayas, first time when he was going to Himalayas, actually he wanted to take me, I didn't touch money to keep that rule. So he joined me, he liked to go to the Himalayas to see rishis. He was from Sri Lanka. So he thought like seeing rishis is like going to the zoo and seeing giraffe or something. Like you enter one area and then the giraffes are there for you to see. So he thought you enter Rishikesh this side That area that rishis are flying up and down. This is his idea of Himalayas. So anyway, he was very helpful to me, and one place I went, he saw some person and he felt that he was really bad person. He was having some mental power, he was with samadhi and some iti power also. So he also was a little bit irritated with me, why this Bhante is coming like this, to such a place. And finally I knew that he will get some experience because knowing that particular master in that ashram. So I mentally told, please help this master person because he has helped me a lot. And the night, next day morning, he was coming to me like, with great respect, my assistant all that time. Said, Bhante, can I speak to you? I said, yeah, why not? He said, all these few days back, I was really upset with you, thinking why you came to such a place and, this kind of master, you were just knowing such a person. I thought he was full of sensual desires. And like that I was thinking. And it was the peak last night, evening. And last night, I suddenly had an experience where he saw this man, the master coming, and just gave the exact message to him, like some dream or vision, I don't know. He was without any clothes, he said, his robes. And he saw his body and he suddenly saw that he had no desire, he had no male-female distraction. He was above that experience. He has managed to get it, overcome it from a samadhi or dhyana, and that the problem was with him. He was having the sensual desire, and that's why he was interpreting differently. So he gave a nice message to him. That was that mystical ability that to know it, because he was a monk before also this Kapakara. So he had this problem with Kama Raga, and he destroyed, and like that he was having this problem. So he was picturing others who were having like that. So I want to tell, so you must have a GPS for this, okay? So we don't know different monks you meet, different people you meet, but how to really follow whatever now I was telling about mindfulness when you're driving, how that is one technique, Indriya Samvara. For Indriya Samvara, I did explain one practice, how to reduce your monkey mind. Now I can look at you like this, okay? Now I look at you like this. Now when I look like this, do I look focused? Now when I look like this, do I look focused? Do I look focused? Look at my eyes if it's possible. Do I look that I'm looking at anything? My eyes are open, but now I am looking, okay? Now? No, yeah. No focus. So this is actually connected with Indriya Samvara. See that? When you are going now, say you are crossing a road, crossing a big thing, you see the vehicles getting less or more, but you don't see who is inside the vehicle. Understand? So you are passing a pedestrian, you see people coming, but you don't recognize who they are. So that registering is really reduced. And then you reduce your monkey mind when you sit down for meditation. You understand? But you have to train this, So these are one of the steps. One is Iriapate, to be focused on what you're doing and feel what you're doing, and that will reduce, that's also reduced because it brings your mind to the moment. Other one is screening what you're experiencing. You're screening what you're experiencing so that you don't put poison into your head or things that you attract or feel desire. Then you protect the mind. This Indriya Samvara series is also called Kotya Samvara series. The monks are practicing. It's not the Pratimoksha Sila. So this is, whoever wants to practice Samadhi or anything, this Indriya Samvara Sila is the highest Sila you can practice. So which brings quick tranquility and Samadhi. So today so much broken through advertisement, just imagine. So how much, you have no tranquility, no Samadhi. All these things will start to work so much in your head. So now I just came down again. Now the last I want to tell, if you are reading English, I suggest, there's one book called Word of the Buddha by Gnaloka Thero. It is under the Four Noble Truths, taken directly from the Buddha's teaching. So I don't know how to tell like this. Like for example, if you want to practice this, I told you we need a GPS. So we listen to so many monks, they are bana and teaching. But how do you know that someone who really have experienced this, we can make sure that that we follow that person, he will know the way out of this suffering. But how can we rely on anyone? We can't read the minds of someone. Okay? But we are very sure the teachings are in the suttas, the direct teachings. They are recorded very well, because Buddha also tells in the end of his time, the last period, how much you hear there's some arahant here or there, don't say yes or no to them, but check whatever I have said with my Dhamma Vinaya. That means check with to check with the original words what I'm saying. That means don't rely any monk or anyone, but check. Even people may say he has attained this or that, but how do you know? It's a popular opinion. So this, to read the original teachings, I would suggest a small book, Word of the Buddha by Gnaloka Thero. The only problem is the Sinhalese translations, I know many of people are put off because they are made old, but there are the Nati Mahale, they have done the translation. And Soisa, I heard this is good. So it is not to know so much knowledge also, it's to take one point and apply it. Where he talks about the elements, about the skandhas, just reflect on that. And then remember, whenever you are doing that, you are activating the frontal lobe. It's called the grey matter, you are thickening the grey matter. So see the positive side of it. So whenever you are enjoying ice cream or any other thing, you are using the reptilian brain. And games or in the computer something addictive, that is worse. It drains all the hormones from and you will know, you are just wasting, you are just a skull of a person, skeleton of a person, not the... So I must suggest, now I'm coming to the last 5-10 minutes of meditation. Any questions anyone wants to ask? Did you all get some points? I don't know.
If you can clarify, I think 2 times you stated that Buddha exists. The way I understood, the Buddha attained Nibbana about 600 years ago. So what does that mean? Can you elaborate very?
Okay, that is through the Dhamma. Now when you're practicing, there's no person, no who you are, that there's no real person here. There is a concept, this idea. When you begin to perceive that, he's there also. Another way I tell you, now for example, say you're with the tax or something, you have to get insurance, some claim or something. Okay? Say you're going with the Buddha to that insurance office, right? Suddenly, because now Buddha is there, you try to behave so well, right? And suddenly you have maybe claim you have to tell a lie somewhere. Okay? Will you tell the lie when he's there actually? No. So when you are telling the truth, it's like almost he's there, right? You get it? When you're practicing. That is one way of him being there. The other way is, the most deepest way is to see the Dhamma, emptiness of things, and seeing there's no self, and seeing the final truths of life regarding these experiences. These are very, if you see like that, this will free you. Because you must really apply those original main sutras, like Sutta tells that your body is what you identify with self. And then the consciousness, and the factors of consciousness. You have Chakku Viññāna, Chakku is the Viññāna, there is Sanya, Sankara, how you feel, you perceive, as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and you react, Sankara. If there is greed, lobha, or dosa, or moha. So this is always happening in our system. This only we identify as self, as me, as I. Okay, but then you have to mentally see how those things finish, what you identify. Do you get a sense of I to something that is empty? Do you get? For something which is empty, do you get an idea it is me? No, that's right. That's right. So remember that it is. Now even now when you're seated, your legs might get numb. Okay? And say, if you don't see from your eyes, sometimes you get the idea, whether my leg is there, you will question this. Just imagine when the feeling comes, when the blood starts flowing, then you get an idea, oh, this is my leg there.
So just imagine how with feeling and wrong attention, you get a sense of I. There's no real I here, anywhere. You get this? But you have to watch this constantly. This is where it creates insight. Vidarshana jnana. Slowly, when you are watching this, observing this, contemplating this, these things. So this practice also must be done. So when you are doing that, remember the frontal lobe is activated. So other negative things you remove and develop these things, so your life is complete when you are doing these things. Any other question? All of you are now enlightened? How is it? No questions, so much enlightened, you see? Anything like to ask? No? I know some people, like I didn't even explain in London, I got to know when they came to me, like, with the cell phone, they were doing certain things. They are having families and all that. And after the blessing, they didn't feel like touching that. I was very happy. Because there are nobody knows this, today. I mean, these are modern days, we have the sutras, but then today we have different types of things that are formed, especially with the internet and all that. Anything else? Any more? No? Any question you like to ask? I've been doing the last meditation. Why you don't have any questions, is it?
Regardless now, we have to interact every physical things around us,
Yes.
one way or the other, as long as we live. When you do that, of course, you have some kind of
Conflict sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand, yeah. Now actually sometimes we think we have a lot of work and then that work is hindering us to get this.
right.
Actually there is, like we have to settle wife, we have to settle children, we have to settle office work, like this so many. The thing is, no, you have not opened that only a certain part of your brain is functioning. The other part of that meditation and cool part is not opened yet. This is the problem. When that is open, you have the same work, but you will have that same that meditation behind it. That peacefulness, like an air-conditioned part of your brain. So this is where you will have, and then you know clearly how to balance it also. In your practicing, you will not hurt anyone. They will appreciate you more. Because you will have less ego, less negative emotions. Just imagine with those negative, less ego. Now sometimes suddenly the wife, in the family, I get to know, sometimes the wife come to me, they're in a certain position in Sri Lanka. I remember one couple, and in the society there, so suddenly the husband is having an affair with somebody. So then she comes running, and she has no one to tell, and she says, and I also accidentally come that area, and then Bante, she cried, I knew something wrong, I had trust me. Then she said, this happened, what can I have no one to tell what to do, Bante. Now I'm thinking, if you had practiced that detachment, that coolness already, and just doing it for the sake of doing duty to your family, when such a thing comes, now when you are so excited and so you get so angry and you try to hurt the person more, right? Now say if you had some detachment, what will you do? You will understand the condition of your husband or wife. You will know that some negative influence have come. This is bad karma period he's going through. I would understand like that. You can't blame someone doing bad if there's some reason for it. So when you understand the full picture, you might even tell, don't worry, you are going through a bad period. We might do a Bodhi Puja for you. Okay, you're going through the Senesuru Appale. Okay, certain period. He will fall in love with you so much. Because just imagine, to have such a husband or wife, who has such understanding and, just know your real, he must be also not liking to do that, he's just driving him. So these things will help, when you're really, I'm not telling people think they're separate, no. You will, if you're doing business, anything. Now the other thing is, it's not small, Just imagine Angulimala, Maharatan was, okay? He was a serial killer. Okay? Then what happened? He was a serial killer. What happened then? He said that the army, the king, he caught Angulimala, and he will regret. He will have so much regret or remorse about what he did. Okay? And then he would die also worrying that, and he would be reborn in hell. But just imagine, meeting the master, just half an hour, 1 hour maybe. He had that insight knowledge. Arahatship. That is this insight knowledge now. When I'm telling cutting the hair, there are levels now. When I questioned him slowly, he was getting into that natural observing. Now immediately the answer was like coming, not me like that, not me, like something like not exactly what he's feeling. But now that is a meditation. You settle down and naturally watch, not bring what you have read in the books or what you have heard. You try to activate your own realization. So when this kind of thing happened to Angulimala, just imagine, there he understood what happened. The apaya going karma was all burnt off, ahusi. And not only that, he was reaping those vipaka, but with small wounds. So even Sakkadevendra, his lifespan was decreasing. Then only he came and met the Buddha. He listened and he became Sotapanna there. And then what happened? He got again that lifespan. Sotapanna means insight of this impermanence and so on. So don't think now, if you want to get a better life here or something cooler, the best thing is to, we don't know even this coming like this, and any moments of practicing will reduce your entire rastyadu, I would call it. Your entire waste of time in life, it will be immediately reduced if you pay attention to the master. And if you do little bit of relaxing, now I find if you have some deadline and I have no time to tell that story, like how if you wait without being frightened and relax, even if you have some assignment or some big thing to do, face tomorrow, miracles happen. If you go through one of the old YouTube things, I have explained what happened to me. Just being in the present moment, it can change, because present moment is only real. That is also relatively real actually. But if you focus, so many things will start to happen in a different way. කාටද ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? සිංහලෙන් අහන්න පුළුවන් මම ඉතින් කාටද කැමති නෑ. මොකක්ද? ඒතර අර කූල් පැත්ත ඇරිලා නෑ. ඒකයි අර ඒක නෙමෙයි. ඒක ඇරුණ දැන් ඒක උදේට පටන් ගන්න මාර කිව්වා තව වෙන හැංගිලා කරන්න ඒ වගේ ඒවා නැති වෙනවා ජීවිතේ. ඒ ගති නැති වුණාම අර සමාධියට පටන් ගන්න. සුට්ටක් ඒවා මොලේ ඒ පැති ඇරෙන්න පටන් ගත්තාම මේ මොකද්ද අර වැඩ තියෙනවා. වැඩ තිබ්බට අර තමන්ට අර කේන්ති යන පැත්ත නැතිනවා, රාගය නැතිනවා. මමත් තේරෙනවා. කොච්චර සල්ලි මේකෙන් එතනද අපි කොච්චර මේ ඒක තව ශක්තිය ඉතුරු වෙනවා. මේ වැඩ තව වැඩි හොඳට කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා මිස අඩුවට කරන්නේ නෙමෙයි. මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් ගන්න තියෙනවද කාටද? Anyone any question? Yes?
You mentioned the young boy who was playing video games and he was kind of possessed by another spirit.
That's right.
How do you help someone like that?
Very interesting this situation I observe. Anyway, this I can't recommend, but this is what I observe what happened, For this kind of thing, I don't tell normally about pujas and all that, but this sprinkling holy water, which has been chanted. Some of these spirits, they have said, I'm burning. Don't sprinkle that. I have seen this, very interesting. And another place they were telling, don't tell, don't tell the name of that person. We are almost like dying when you hear that sound. It's a chanting of these holy, verses. Another place, don't touch that book. When he touches that book, some of our when he's reading through using that book, some of our colleagues they died or something like that. It was these teachings of the literature. So I was because in Sri Lanka and all that, they are very worried about ghosts and all that. So I thought this was wonderful finding for me to tell as a remedy, because they will do tie talismans and things like that and do all sort of pujas. They don't know how effective, how powerful when you are getting purer. So to help such a person, another way is there. Okay, I will tell you. I think I told this about Vivekananda. Someone who knows you, or you want to help somebody like that?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to help someone, there is a way. Once I remember, have you heard of Swami Vivekananda? He was in 1895. It was Parliament of Religions in Chicago. He became very famous in America that time. As a monk. They had a sort of, there's Anagarika Dharma also representing Buddhism that time, but he's the one who made the real mark, Swami Vivekananda. His speech, like just sisters and brothers of America, those words were like a Chinese gong, they say. It has such power. So after that he became famous. So he was once asked, one mother brought the child who was addicted to sweets and sugar. Have you heard this? So then he was brought, the mother told the Swami, Swamiji, can you please give a mantra or something so that he will stop eating sugar, So Swamiji has said, well, come after 10 days, I will give him something. So after 10 days, the mother brought the child again. And then the Swamiji looked at him and said, son, hereafter don't eat sugar. Then the mother said, oh, Swami, what about the mantra? He said, oh, this is the mantra, I have told him this. He said, we should have told this 10 days back. He said, 10 days ago, I was eating sugar. Last 10 days, I stopped eating sugar. And then, so there is this also. If you want to help someone, one thing, your words will have a commanding. I had one nice experience in Narene, but I got to know about it. I was talking in London, not England, I was Stock and Trend. In one place I was staying, it's a hotel. It was my actually devotees' hotel. So, for me, it was the first time I was in a hotel where the devotee was the owner of the place. So I just told him my personal wanting. I told I'd like to bless your staff. Because so he brought the cook and all these people, and the one in the reception. And so when they came, there was one gentleman, I noticed he was drinking. He was from Poland. So I immediately, I told him, no, it makes you ugly, it makes you like this, don't drink. I just told him like that also, not much, and I just joked with him, and I left and then blessed them and went. So I got to know he has stopped drinking. I don't know what he did was he has told my friend or my devotee, my mother told me to stop drinking, but I didn't stop drinking. My wife told me to stop drinking. I still didn't many years back, 30 years ago, and you also told me not to stop drinking, but your friend told me, it was me, and I stopped drinking. Yeah, you have commanding power. You have something. That's why I tell that something you do something, they will have to obey. It will happen. So that so if you want to change somebody, best thing is whatever mistake you are doing, you observe that, remove that. Then that controlling power will create what I call a mystical force. And even to worry about someone, especially, you must know it is kind of intoxication, but still, if you really want to help. I know one mother whose child was a drug addict, heroin addict. She's known to me very well. And then she couldn't do anything with the child. The child was going from gangs, one gang after the other, and she couldn't bring the child back. So what she did was she observed 8 precepts and looked at the Bodhi tree and was focused on that. So it went 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. The 7th day, the child is coming, where's mama, where's mama? So, you get an answer? Okay. My answers are very different, right? Because I'm telling you how your self-improvement will change whatever you want, and not only one person, you'll be affecting many people around you. තව මොන හරි කාටද අහන්න තියෙනවද? කාටද තියෙනවද? Anyone? Any last question? මොන හරි එකක් අහගන්න තියෙනවද? එක question එක?
Do you still believe that one can go beyond the speed of light and go back to its...
You're always going. That thinking, memory, I understand it like that. So, but I am thinking of where the time stops to go that speed. That is vipassana. Yeah, I think like that. I told a lot about that experience in the USA tour, I think maybe because of the science listing, it made me tell a lot.
I have a question.
Yes.
In this path, when we go in the path, when we do meditation, we want to get away from the attachment.
Yes.
Okay, in the meantime, we have to give the compassion and love to the others.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get into the path, a little bit, doing meditation. But one day, my son, he's in the university now. So I don't ask him to come home, but whenever he comes, he stays a little bit and go. Then one day he asked me, Amma, you are not asking about me now. Why? What's going on? So I said, I'm giving you the freedom. Whenever you want to come and see me, come and see me. So, but he came one day and he said that I see something not right with you. You need to find friends. I said, I'm happy. So why you are asking this? So sometimes I'm trying to, okay, why do I attach to him that much, So I let him go, and he's 20 now. So he comes back and asks me questions. He's trying to get close to me. He asks when he comes home, he asks, do you need I had I'm working in the construction. Sometimes I have my toes, feeling bad. So he asked me, do you need a foot massage? So something like that, because he thinks that I'm not considering him anymore, something like that. So what kind of situation, something like that? But I didn't have love to him, but I try to, that's fine, take your whatever.
No, if you are removing attachment, actually it will be a great blessing to the children. I had only one great grandma like that. And when the child was dying, she didn't even go there. No tear even. In the Japamala, she was watching the Buddha statue, my grandfather's mother. And then she used to tell my mother, they used to discuss because she was religious. That is 9 days how the body disintegrates. That means they have been thinking these things, and such a mother will be liberating the family. So now in my case also with my brother, after that experience, I was distant. I used to pet him a lot and make, then suddenly when this 18 years old, my whole life changed. I never forget, they brought me from the airport, South Africa, then from Sri Lanka, I came back. So my brother was seated next to me like this, and I was seated. And then he looked at me top to bottom. And he laid his head, but I never touched him also because I was changed at that time. But that will create respect. Not now, even with animals, your attachment to animals, no attachment helps anyone. And then even if they get attached to you, when you're detached, they are getting attached to detachment. You get it? That's the great thing, you're pulling them to liberation. You understand? It's the greatest gift you can give. But you indulge in that same, mirth and intoxication. Both all are going down. So that will be, they will remember that impression how my mom was calm, and they get faith in they relate it to, she's meditating, she's thinking of the Buddha. More than talking, they will see that, and that will create, you have given the greatest treasure to the family. You understand? So we do the last meditation, okay? The last question finished now. And so for this, Bambalapitiye Gnaloka Thero. 아무튼 봐도 있네. 아마도 වැටෙනවා දන්නේ නැහැ 아무튼 ඉන්නේ. ඒක බලන්න පිට පාරේ විපරිත නැටක් ගන්න පිට. So just take your hands to relax a bit, okay? A bit like this. It's like don't worry, you don't look dignified, but no problem. Just to make the like this. slowly, vigorously. And then relax. Relax. It's a short, fast sakman. Now, not to meditate, you just have to relax, okay? Take a deep breath and all the tension, let it go. And pay attention to the sounds you are hearing immediately. මේ වෙලාවේ ඇහෙන ශබ්ද හොඳට අහන්න හොඳට. භාවනා කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ නිකන් රිලැක්ස් කරලා මූද වෙල්ලක ඉන්නවා වගේ හිතාගෙන පාක් එක like you're in a park. What can you hear? Very silent place, so one come nicely here. And when you are hearing like that, all the time relaxing, sometimes shoulder area, hand area, you must sit in a way that you are not thinking about your body too much, or trying to lift your body or anything. Really nice to enjoy the sitting, whatever sitting way. And when you're relaxing like that, you will naturally notice something. In your body, a bodily function. That you are breathing, how your lungs are expanding, how the lungs are. No anapanasati, I'm not telling like that. Just you will notice the bodily function now. How you're drawing in breath and how you're drawing out breath. Not drawing out, I'm sorry. Exhaling the breath. When you notice it naturally, you are at the right awareness of the present moment. It must come naturally, that you notice it. When you do that, as I told you, if you have the teachings of the Buddha, the suttas, what you read you must apply to your person. That is your GPS. I call the Guru position system. So normally, if you are reading a sutra, you must have it on your bedside. Maybe it's Majjhima Nikaya or Bhikkhu Bodhi. These are the ones that is your guide, your master, the Buddha. You will apply what he says, not all the story parts. In the Satipatthana Sutta also, whatever he says there, you have to apply to your person. So first learn to relax and settle down and notice your breathing in and out, meanwhile relaxing. And notice you seated, like from outside, how you are seated, how you are dressed with certain cloth. In my case, my robes. In your case, maybe t-shirt, shirt, blouse, or whatever. Picture yourself dressed and sitting down. Then after that, one day when you are alone also you can do this. If you are reading the original teachings of the Buddha, like you are listening to him, just apply to this body. Buddha says, Rupam Bhikkave Anatta. The body is not yours. that you must think of your own body that is seated down. Rupancha hidam bhikkave atta. Why is it not yours? Abadaya is subjected to affliction. In whatever way you understand, you must know, you must study the body, how it is. It gets sick, old, death comes. This is the nature. Today I saw this particular sick patient. You are so fit and well. This is the nature of the body. Whatever way that you can really grasp or understand, you relate it. Labbeta cha rupe, evam me rupam hotu, evam me rupam mahositi. These are Buddha's words, my friends. You can't order the body to be like this, body not to be like that. It doesn't follow your orders. If you tell body not to get old, not to sick, not to die, it will not follow you. Because it has this nature, you have a misunderstanding. It's me, but it's not me. This perception, this understanding, more you have tranquility, you will be able to bake it in the mind. You must allow it to bake. When you do like that, you know without the body we can't have consciousness. In this consciousness only I get these people I see from the eyes, hear from the ears. If the body is not mine, what I am seeing also is not mine. You will be able to let go things, not take them personally. And you find lightness coming more. More you practice this, you are coming closer to Nibbana. The great masters, how they practice in silence, solitude. You also like in this state to working towards that practice. How peaceful I will be when my mind is free from any kind of greed, hate, and delusion. So just like my mind, may the people in this room, may they all experience this tranquility, peace of mind, Nibbana. Not only in this room, like you're going in a helicopter, the neighborhood, other houses, all these people having ranches, families, getting ready for Christmas, innocent human beings. May they also get this Samma Sambuddha's great teaching. Entire Texas state and all these New Jersey, Arizona, North America, Canada, South America, like you've seen from outside, ants like so many beings, Central America, may they all experience this peace of mind. Then England, Europe, Africa, Mediterranean, China, India, Sri Lanka, so many human beings, Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Russia, Australia, Taiwan, Japan, all human beings, entire earth, may they be free from suffering. May they come to this inner peace. May they come to Nibbana. Not only all those human beings, all the animals, Vedarani, invisible spirits, lower worlds, Vedarani Padma Vichya, to the lowest world, may they be free from suffering, come to this highest experience of liberation. In the higher worlds like the angels, Chatu Maharaj, Katavatim Sadhusita, Yama, Nimadharati, May they all be free from suffering. They have not much suffering, but little greed, hate and delusion, loba dosana. May that be free from those realms. Higher than that is Brahma Purohita, Brahma Parisatya, Maha Brahma, Dehampada Abhasana, Kanita Brahma. Those worlds don't have greed, hate, but they have ego, delusion, a sense of self, a subtle sense of self. May that also completely disappear from those innocent beings, like the Arahants, fully enlightened beings. No more defilements in the mind, from the lowest worlds to the highest forms of existence. Entire sentient being be free from suffering. You must picture like from outside. We are coming to the end of the program. You can do this at home and in your daily practice. We suggest you also read the original teachings of Satipatthana Sutta, apply it. And now I'm going to give a last blessing, but this comes with some kind of samadhi. So actually, this is like, for example, like in Himalayas, some of the yogis, they remain silent for long periods and develop certain samadhi. So when I give this particular thing, to get the full blessings, it's good if you can remain silent until tomorrow morning. What is really necessary, you can talk, but try to take dinner or something is okay, but try to remain quiet and peaceful so that it gets fully absorbed into the system. Otherwise it might come back, return back from this source. So this will help you all in the future. And in the night time you get more blessings. Certain blessings will come more for you all. So, if anyone has some special difficulty, still some problem bothering their life, they can slightly raise their hand. කාටද විශේෂ අමාරුවක් කරදර තාම තියෙනවා නම් හිතට වදින නාවට උත්සන්න පුළුවන්. මම ඉබලා වෙනුවෙන් විශේෂයෙන් ආශිර්වාදයක් කරන්න. If anyone has some problem which is still bothering them and no solution they feel, you can slightly raise their hand. You really help, right? The organizations, you can ask them maybe some things. I have sometimes maybe end of before I leave this place in 2 days or 3 days. You can ask them if there's something they need. Maybe they need time to meet or something. What do you think next time? Can you close your eyes for a few minutes? Close your eyes for 3-4 minutes.